What's up, YouTube? Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully the audio is clearing up, but we're back again here today with another video. Me and Charlie are riding through the neighborhood, going to the park, and gonna tell you a little story about my my Costco journey. So in about winter of 2008, I had my buddy Christian tell me he can get me a job at Costco. And at the time I heard Costco was a good place to get a job from, so I just went for it and showed up. So go to the warehouse, they sent me to the back of the building, which I thought was a little weird, but kind of just went with it. From there, I started the interview in this little small room with this lady named Tracy, and then about a couple interview questions in, I realized that it wasn't for actual Costco, it was for a company called CDS, and that stands for Club Demonstration Services, and it's a completely different business than Costco, but it's the food demo people. And I wasn't really interested at the time, but by the end of the interview, she had told me that the starting pay was the same as Costco was, so I just took the opportunity to get my foot in the door and got hired on being a sample person. Most of the time it's like these old ladies, but I was 18, 19-year-old, still playing college football at Palomar, and ended up doing it. Did that for about 6 months, and during that time I would run into employees and management who I didn't know at the time, but I would just bug them and say, hey, how do I get a job at Costco? How do I get a job at Costco? And then they told me just to put a application in and resubmit it every 60 days because they expire. And next thing you know, I got a job or an interview at Costco. And most people get hired on seasonally at Costco, but I was fortunate enough to get hired on part-time. And yeah, that was in June 15th of 2009. And yeah, from there, I started pushing carts. I did that for about 2-3 years. I really liked being outside. You had a sense of freedom. As long as you kept the carts full, they left you alone. And most of the time in Temecula, California, the weather was pretty good. But through my career there, I did almost everything at the warehouse, from cart crew, cashier assistant, box crew, morning merch, night merch, chicken room, deli, meat department. Chicken room sucked at the time. I heard it's gotten better since because there's more like new technology to make skewering up chickens and cooking them perfectly easier. But yeah, from 2013, I got hired onto the tire shop, and I ended up staying there for 10 years. And that's what I've been doing the last 10 years, is learning about all the different tires and characteristics and safety, how to put tires on, do flats, all that stuff. And yeah, my employment at Costco, it was a good experience. Over the years, it changed, and I really noticed that like the morale of the whole warehouse started to decline, and they just wanted you to do more work with less help. And a big part of what drove me to move to Texas from California was how busy it was. At Costco, they have someone at the front door clicking this little button, counting every Costco membership that they see come through the door. And in a busy day at the warehouse I'm at now, which is pretty tame compared to a busy warehouse, every 30 minutes it's around 250 to 300 carts through that door every 30 minutes. But in Temecula, it was up to the 5 to 650. That's heads coming through that front door, and it just was so busy. Everyone was in a rush. and a lot of rude people, and then I had to sit in traffic on the way home, and that's kind of what ultimately drove me to move to Lubbock, Texas. There was definitely some more employment opportunity. I wanted to stay with the tire shop, and I really wanted to buy my own house out here. As a single guy, it was pretty much impossible on my income to buy a home in Southern California at the time. Still is, but yeah, so I just kind of looked at my career and looked at my options and decided that it was time for a change, and I was tired of being at the receiving end of a corporation that you can't really control. Don't get me wrong, they've got great health benefits, great vacation and sick time. They will match, depending on how long you work there, they will match up to 9% for your retirement contributions. So they got a lot of good things going for them, but I personally saw so much, like, certain situations be handled in a way that shouldn't have been, and their hiring process isn't very clear as far as getting new job postings in the warehouse. They tell you one thing and then you see something else. Anywho, I'm not here to badmouth Costco, but yeah, my last day was April 2nd of 2023. That was about two months ago. And hold on, I'm gonna get hit by a car. I don't even know how this footage is, but hopefully you're able to hear me. But me and Charlie are just cruising, going to the park. Some nice farmland over here. But yeah, it was a long 13 years at Costco. Here's a funny story. So when I first got hired on there, I was kind of a bit of a slapdick, and I didn't really care what was going on. So if I didn't feel like going to work that day, I wouldn't even show up, and I wouldn't show up on time. So I actually got suspended, which is 3 days without pay, and it's up for termination. So when I went home that day, my stomach like dropped. I didn't realize how serious it was, but at the time I was like, man, if I get fired from Costco, it's gonna be hard to get hired on anywhere else. But this girl, Kristen, who I used to push carts with, took me home that day, made it seem like everything was gonna be fine. She had worked there for a while, so she knew kind of the process. I ended up going back after the 3 days unpaid and talked to a manager, and they said because I'm a hard worker and they liked what they've seen so far, that they're gonna give me another chance. And I never got a write-up for another 10 years till recently. I had like a tardy write-up, but yeah, that was that could have ended my Costco career pretty quick. I also, my first week in the tire shop in 2013, I crashed a car into the wall, but I passed the drug test and I was fine. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my Costco career. But here's some more of the park. Charlie's crying. We're still recording on the GoPro 3. Come Wednesday, I'm gonna have a whole new setup, so I'll be able to tweak with what kind of videos you're gonna be seeing as far as quality goes and type of content. But yeah, this is our little dog park we always come to. It's called Elm Creek. Yeah, so if you can, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys want to see in future content. I plan on doing a rig walk around before I hit the road after all the parts get done at the powder coat shop. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.